Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We are talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. Yes, we are talking about D-Day. D-Day was a madness, okay? I can't even, listen, let me be honest with you. I didn't even make no notes. So I don't even have accurate comments as to what they actually said. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have any accurate comments as to what they said. I just remember everybody saying yes. Everybody. As if they haven't got problems. As if people have not been telling us the whole season that things are mad. They are as bad as my connection that I'm having on YouTube right now. They're as bad as the quality connection I'm having right now. I'm having internet issues at the moment, if you guys haven't guessed. That's why the quality and the sound is off, because I can't use my usual setup. I have to use my phone and mobile data. The way they have said yes is as bad as the connection I have. How is it people are forgetting what they told us all season? Noel and Steve, first and foremost, my friends, please. Did we sort out the financial issues, but we're buying a ring? Did we sort out the financial plan, but we're buying a ring? You've got her a second ring. Have you even done a financial plan? Huh? Have you even done a financial plan? Ask me that question. You haven't done a financial plan, but you're out here buying rings. And Noel is all crying and breaking tears again. I'm confused. Lindsey and Mark, what manner of trauma bonding is going on here? What manner of trauma bonding is going on here? What do you mean that you're going to stay together again? You couldn't even trust this woman. You were sleeping with her and saying stuff like, you know what, I can't trust you, the way you behave, da 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 da. And you want to tell me, right? You want to tell me that you believe that this is the relationship you want to be in. Mark the shark, who became Mark the fish, now suddenly wants to now get into a relationship with. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Then we had I'm not surprised by this one. I'm not surprised by Oluwaseun and Katina. I'm not surprised they said yes. Reason being is because I just never saw her actually walking away from the situation. I never saw Katina walking away from the situation. I never saw Katina being able to walk away from the situation. So I'm not surprised that Katina said yes to Oluwaseun. I'm not surprised. That one didn't come as a surprise, but we know that she should have said no. We know she should have said no. All of a sudden, the boy is saying, I'm open to change of time. If you go and have your schooling and have kids, he's open to change of time. What? Suddenly he's open to changing the time. Suddenly he's become very accommodating. Sis, don't come and tell us later on that, you know, he changed his mind, because that's the whole reason why we knew. We knew that already. So I'm confused by them two, and then not a goal. Then we had Jasmina and Michael. I gotta ask some serious questions. Michael, what are we staying for? No. I told you. I've put in review. Do not become impregnating her and not get in the relationship. Do not go and give her twins and you have not got a relationship with this woman. You'll regret it. Do you hear what I'm saying? You'll regret it. What are you staying for? What are we staying for? What are we staying for? Really and truly, what is there to stay for, Jasmina and Michael? It's more Michael that I'm confused by. No, Jasmina, I should say. Yeah? Jasmina, I'm confused. And not only does that confuse me, in fact, first of all, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads. For those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, all right? You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right. You know, I honestly, No, it's frustrating. I'm looking at and I'm like, what's going on, bruv? Why are people suddenly just saying yes like that? And then the experts are getting excited. Um, you know, the experts are excited. With the fact that people have said yes. Why are the experts not concerned? Why are you not concerned that you questioned? First of all, let's just start with Jasmina and Michael. You questioned Jasmina and Michael. Jasmina told us he put her hand on a bum, right? Jasmina told us that he put his hand on her bum. And did she say she liked it? Why did it sound like she was even annoyed at the fact that he put her hand on her bum? Did it sound like, oh, he put my hand on his bum and I was excited and I really wanted to? Did it sound like that? Did it sound like she said, oh, he put my hand on my bum and I was like thinking maybe we can go somewhere? Did she think that? Did you hear those comments? Because I didn't. Did you hear those thoughts? Because I didn't. I didn't hear anything going in a better direction, right? I didn't hear it getting any better direction than what we see with the fact that you are still in a place where you refuse to let him in. I'm not saying she's the only problem. He's also a problem too. His biggest problem is he hasn't walked away. His biggest problem is that he stayed fighting for something that's not fighting for him. That's my biggest problem with Michael. He's got a bit of a darker side of him, Michael too. Don't get twisted. He told some half truths when it came to his flatmates and stuff. But if you can't put your bum, you can't even put your hand on her bum, and you want to come and tell me like there's a relationship to salvage here. There's nothing to salvage. There is nothing to salvage here. You can't put your hand on her bottom and enjoy yourself and look at your partner and be like, oh, my partner. You can't even do that. You can't even do that. And you're being almost chastised for that. I don't know. Maybe it's a Miles and Karen situation, Uh, you know, maybe it's a Miles and thingy situation. Maybe it's a Miles and Karen situation. Maybe they'll make it through, but the cameras are not looking. Maybe they'll get it through. Jasmine said Michael did put his hand on his booty. I think Michael pretended to be asleep when he did it. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I've never touched anybody's booty by mistake. Yeah, I'm touching your booty on purpose. Like, let's be honest. Yeah, if I'm touching your booty on purpose. It's not like anything. I've never touched anybody's bum by mistake. Yeah, let's keep it a buck. I've never done it before. You ever done it before? I've never done it before. So let's keep it real. He tested the waters, and unfortunately, you know, uh, it didn't broker any further. Uh, uh, um, it didn't broker any further. I would say a connection between the two of them. There was nothing more that happened. Like really, why are these two together? Honestly, what is it that's holding them together? I don't know. Super glue. Dr. V says to talk to them for about 2 hours each about their marriages, but we're only getting less than 10 minutes of what they say, so the majority of the relationship is not being shown to us. Clearly. But then why the show's got a big problem? Because then you could have showed us something that was of significant and worth. You could have showed us something that was better in their connection than I've seen. Then you could have showed us something that was quality in terms of their showing growth. At the moment, I've not seen no growth. Where's the growth that they talk about? I haven't seen the growth. Yes, I'm not arguing. Yes, I'm not arguing. But we had 8 weeks to solve this issue, and we haven't solved it yet. And you want to continue? You want to do without the cameras? You want to test it and see if you can do without the cameras? Maybe you can. But people are forgetting with Miles and Karen, they had an extended period of time. They had COVID, so they had an extended period of time. They had longer than 8 weeks. I think they had 10 or 11 weeks. You don't have that here. You had 8 weeks to make a decision, 8 weeks to make a choice. I'm trying to think to myself, if you couldn't do an 8, what makes you think you can do it without the cameras? That's my thing. Listen, I know exactly what my hand's doing in the middle of the night. I know exactly what my hand is doing in the middle of the night. Just gonna be honest with you. Let's be honest with you. So yeah, I'm so confused by Jasmina and Michael. What gave them the right, the audacity to think that they can continue? When there's nothing that you have shown me that's made me feel like they should continue. And I'm not even beefing them. It's more of a case of, what did you guys see? I can see that you guys have become better friends. I can see that you guys have got closer. I can see there's been more of a connection in the French department. But there isn't anything in a romantic situation. What in the romanticness are we seeing? What in the romanticness are we seeing that is better? Somebody talk to me. What in the romanticisms is better here? I'm struggling to find that out. This is the question. Did they even kiss? I didn't even see that. So what's the problem? If y'all couldn't even kiss in 8 weeks, I'm kissing people when I first meet them, let alone 8 weeks. I'm kissing people first time I've met them, let alone 8 weeks. Y'all taking 8 weeks to kiss? It's a long one. It's a long one. Someone said, I think the cameras don't allow for you to be yourself. They could possibly figure it out off camera. They potentially could. Potentially they could figure it out off camera. Maybe there's something there. Mirroring Onu one. Onu, what's good? What's good? What's good? Talk to me, bro. What's your thoughts? Oh, you're muted, Onu. You're muted. Sorry.
This season was interesting. At the end, I thought we were going to get some actually acknowledgement for like just actual growth through the season. And I'm just like, I was just dumbfounded when I was just like, yes, after yes, after yes, after yes. I feel like, I think the producers wanted to produce an ending that that will be soft when it causes any controversy. Honestly, the best character on this entire season was Chris. And Chris was able to determine within like 3-4 days, like, you know what, this isn't for me. It was willing to walk away. And he pretty much set up what his criteria was. Like, if you're not going to at least meet me halfway, why am I going to invest in a marriage? And was willing to just let it go without having the producers or having the show influence his entire decision. Whereas the rest of the couples, I think the produce, not just, well, you can say the committee, but particularly the producers kind of convinced them to go through the entire season, even when they have been self-doubt. And the questions they had at week 1 are still here at week 8. So if it's supposed to be a process, you're supposed to be trying to determine if this is something I want to be in for the long term. If you're not acknowledging the problems initially and trying to get answers to them, what the heck? Why are you saying yes to? So someone like Jasmina, again, there's no accountability there. Olajuwon, again, like if these are your issues at week 4, week 5, I don't understand exactly why you're saying yes. Like I'm seeing a lot of trauma bonding. And again, these people need they need therapy, but at least self-growth before able to make decisions like, you know what, I'm ready for marriage. Like most of these people aren't ready to date. They're waiting for marriage, completely off. White boy, Mike. I said Mike. I forget his name. White boy.
Mark.
Oh yeah, Mark. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Mark. I mean, this guy is just so conflicted about everything happening in his life. Again, he never paid any attention to Lindsey, but at the end, it's just like, why? You don't want to be in a relationship. Why are you staying married? It's just like things don't make sense off the board. Like I was just confused, and I'll wait my Noel conversation. I'm gonna keep that to the end.
Yeah, I think with a situation with Martin Shark as well. I honestly I'm confused by it's also under the nose people. I'm confused by Martin Shark and Lindsey. I really did expect them to come correct. I thought they would quit. I thought they would both quit. I thought that she felt like he wasn't going to do enough. I felt like he would be like, she does way too much. She's over the top. She does this. She does that. I just thought it would be much. I just thought that it would be much easier being able to say we ain't gonna make it, okay? But someone made a very good point. I can't remember who was watching. I think it was Jack and Glenn and watching their live panel. Talk about how I forgot that what Mark had said, which is he forgets. No, he doesn't. There's no woman that he leaves. They leave him. So he's not going to leave Lindsey because that is in alignment with his past behaviors. He doesn't leave women. So unless Lindsey was going to say no, he wasn't going to leave the situation. He was going to try and rectify it and try to make it work. And also to move into the house that she said she ain't trying to move into, he crazy. Go on, bro.
This is one thing. If I don't like somebody, why am I trying to be a roommate? Why am I trying to cohabitate with this person? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you give every single week, it was like, you know what, you can't stand being in a conversation with this woman. Now she's suitable enough to live with and stay married, just to live with. Like, this doesn't make any sense. If I'm in fear of my life, I need to extract myself from the situation. That's the normal human response. Mark, honestly, I think he's looking for someone to love him. Like, if you say every single relationship up until now has failed and he's just looking for someone to actually give him any attention, not even positive, just any attention to relationship, yeah, Lindsey is that person. But at the same time, it's just like Lindsey is very toxic. She's very, very inflammatory with her comments and in her actions and her behavior. Like, this is not a healthy situation or a healthy environment. Where is his friends? You haven't really seen his friends. I remember, like, in the first month, he hanged out with at the bowling, I think, with Chris. You can see that, hey, when he's around people of like mind with him, he can have an actual bonding conversation. When he's left by himself, he's not going to make mature intellectual decisions. And that's my issue with Mark. Mark knew at the second week mark, I need to leave the situation. Unfortunately, he was speaking with his little brain, not his big brain, and that kind of influenced the entire decision that he went through. And my thing is, you haven't shown me why you want to be. You haven't shown me why you want to be married. Number one, you haven't showed a stable environment that you can lead, or provide, and protect. You want Lindsey to engulf that alpha mentality, or that, the protector, whatever you want to call it, so you can thrive or survive. That's not going to be good. Wouldn't be surprised within 6 months they break up, and it's because I can't deal with the situation. And then why go in that situation?
I think with that situation, so I'm listening to two different things. I have to kind of do two things at once, but it's crazy. Can you hear me right?
I can hear you right.
Fantastic. Sorry, I'm using two devices to now do this thing. I've got to listen to one and do another. But I think with the situation, Mark and Lindsey, you're actually right about the protector part, right? She wants that person to protect her, to cover her, to make sure that she feels safe, right? If she doesn't feel like that, then the claws are going to come out, right? And the question is, in 8 weeks, have you seen an improvement on the claws coming out? No.
If anything, it's gotten worse. They've becoming more regular attacks every single time. Doesn't matter if they're in a group setting or if they're by themselves. It's like, what will Mark do for Lindsey to be pissed off at today? And the goal for Mark is, I want to find somebody that appreciates me for who I am. That ain't Lindsey. And I don't know the women he's dated up until now, but I'm pretty sure he's met someone else able to appreciate him for who he was. Maybe he couldn't provide the protection, the need, and all the things that a typical man should do. I get that. Mark is not a catch by no far means. At the same time, this is a very toxic situation. You should be able to identify that. You're like, you know what? I don't want to go in a situation versus go in that situation. And I don't know how this show has gotten men like Mark willing to stay in situations they shouldn't have. Unfortunately, I'm seeing a lot of Jacob energy coming from this guy. Just like, I'm looking for someone to validate that I'm a good, or there's something good inside me, versus, you know what? I'm not being validated. It's okay for me to walk away. Like, it's okay to fail at certain things. It's okay to realize, not everyone can be my friend. Not everyone's going to bring the best out of me. Continuing to force that situation over your head, it shouldn't. By 8 weeks, you should know that. And that's what you're not hearing. I'm hearing the opposite. Like, this is the wonderful situation. I'm so glad I met this person. I want to stay here forever. And I'm just like, what? How? Maybe I missed something over the 14 weeks. I don't remember one nice thing Lindsey did to him except clean up his home, but call him names behind his back. I never seen him cook a meal. I've never seen him give him a hug. I've never seen him encourage him to be a person. Maybe not certain things off the scenes, but it's very easy for this camera to show the bad parts of you. The camera's gonna show the good and the bad. Getting bad tape on someone is not that hard. Getting good tape, you can hide that. It shouldn't be that easy to show me Lindsey's not a good has good character, high individual. That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the trouble with this situation, when it comes to um, the Mark, the Shark, and Lindsey as well. We saw earlier on in the season as well how they tried to unify, you know, and all it became was a blame game as well. And you know, Mark staying in that situation. I'm again. It is, you're saying yes on decision day to say like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna stay in this marriage. But again, I'm like, and I don't know if she say, I don't know if I heard correctly, did she say that I think he acts differently off camera than he does on camera? This thing blows my mind. Why are we acting differently on camera than we are off camera? You know what I mean? Like, these people are acting different. I get it. You know, sometimes on camera we can feel some type of way or whatever, but we're completely changing our behavior enough for you to think to yourself that maybe off camera you different. What are you thinking on it?
This is the mind-boggling thing about this season. Like, we know things happening off camera and on camera. Like with Chris and Lisa's situation, we saw like destruction like on and off camera to the point where the producer had to step in because again, it became a toxic environment all over. It's one thing when you show a toxic environment on camera and you don't see anything good on the other side or see people talk about the good qualities about them. They have solo panels where they talk about the other person. It should be easy for you to say nice things about somebody else. It shouldn't be feeling like you have to pulling teeth. And we look at his just behaviors, mannerisms when they're together, it just seems like he's not happy. He feels like a chore. If I'm with the love of my life, I should be excited to be with that person. Compared to other couples, Elijah or Mike, you see them happy being around the partners that they've been chosen with. You feel like with Mark the Shark, he would rather be in a rat infested room in Boston than be with her and her cats and her plants. And it's not like, well, maybe if he changes this one, two things, it's like these are think antisocial people are people that are hard to connect to maybe normal human tendencies, but we're forcing too many things to put together. Well, if they spend enough time, maybe they'll find something about them. I watched for 8 weeks. I can't identify 3 things Lindsey does for Mark that makes him feel like, you know what, I'm glad to wake up in the morning, go out this day and be the best Mark I can be. Is rent that expensive in Boston that we just have to start shacking up with people we don't like?
Sorry, bro. The last part I couldn't actually hear. I couldn't hear a word last part. So the audience got it, but I didn't get it. Yeah. So I'm assuming you're still talking about Mark and Lindsey at the end, bro.
No, I'm just saying Boston in general. Like, is the rent that high in Boston that we have to start shacking up with people that we don't like?
I cannot hear a word. Hold on. 1 minute. I cannot hear a word. My thing don't want to play it with me. Hold on. I'm gonna get this back. Sound ain't here, nothing. Okay. So get this off my screen. Sorry. Too many thoughts here. Okay. Go for it again, bro. Sorry, the last part. It's the last part.
I said, is the rent. Can't hear me again. Can you hear me now?
I'm gonna guess. So guess what you do? Your last line, just put it in the chat, and I'm gonna go
put it in the chat.
I can't hear. Whenever you said the last line, I'm gonna go off that last line. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy out here. It's political. I've got situations. I'm so sorry, guys. My internet's on the mad thing. My sound's on the mad thing. Everything's on the mad thing today. So thanks for you guys' patience. I appreciate that. Cool, Cat. You put it in the chat for me, bro.
I did.
Oh, you come back now. It was, I think it's my sound has been a bit off, bro. Sorry, what were you saying, bro? Earlier on, just last one.
Okay. Is the rent too high in Boston that we have to shack up with people that we do not like?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, obviously as well. I mean, that's what I was saying about the whole situation. Well, I mean, a lot of people look. The rent is high. Let's be honest. And I don't know. Did they actually think before? Like, what was this? Was this a part of people's conversations? Because obviously, once they finish this experiment, y'all got to think about whether you're going to move in or not.
I think it's one of the things that Pastor Cal says, like when they move into the apartment, that's something they have to address, what the future is going to be when they leave here, if they decide to be together or not. So again, it's a conversation I believe like they have typically off camera, but at the same time is like, I mean, there's a financial component to that, but the same thing is like, what is the emotional response to that? Like, do I feel safe? Do I feel loved? Do I feel like, hey, this is something beneficial for me and the person that I'm with? And what over the course of the 8 weeks says, like, you know what, I can trust living with this person outside of a controlled environment, as in the apartment that they're shacking up for 8 weeks. I get for the 8 week experience, but experiment. But afterwards, no, the camera's not there to help you. I mean, this is the first season they said that they're providing therapy for the couples out as soon as the cameras go off. In the past, that wasn't the case. To me, that requires a high level of emotional maturity. To be like, hey, I might not understand everything about them, but hey, we can both live and cohabitate in peace and in a productive environment. These people have been mad and bitter and angry about each other for the entire since the honeymoon moving forward.
I give it a delay. Yeah, bro. To be honest, I think someone's even put it in their chat as well. Actually, what I was even going to say, because that also relates now to what you're saying. Kind of relates now back to as well, Jasmina and Michael, because these two decided they're not even going to stay together. So let alone if you're talking about rent being high, you're talking about people living together. Plus, Mark the Shark also got a key as well for the freaking grandma's house, which we already know how Lindsey feels about the grandma's house, and she ain't about that life, right? But all to say, like you said about when people think about this, and that's what I was saying about it. Even relates to Michaela and to Michael and Jasmina. Because how do you then decide? Let's put all jokes aside about rent being high. How did you then put to a point where you two are decided to live in separate houses, bro?
That's no
separate houses.
That's no Steve.
Like, how is this going to be continuing the marriage? How are we really trying to live this marriage, right? You know what I mean? So let alone Mark the Shark and Lindsey, I get it. Okay, I'm not agreeing with the fact they said yes, but we got Jasmina and Michael saying they are not going to even live together. She's literally reinitiating her whole relationship issues from the past once again. She's literally living that same lifestyle by having a long distance relationship all over again. Yes, bro.
That's my issue with Jazz. This is my issue with Jasmina. Like for women in general, they know if they like someone or have a sexual attraction or some type of attraction to a person by the end of the first date. It doesn't take 8 weeks to figure that out. And then the first month, I give her a pass. Like, she's struggling because she sees things she doesn't like Michael, and Michael had to readjust. He had to become a lot more considerate for feelings, etc. At the end of the next 4 weeks, you haven't said that you haven't kissed the guy. You haven't said you haven't said any nice things about him physically. There's no attraction to him. To me, it's like a platonic relationship. It's to me like brother-sister vibe energy versus being in a relationship. And these are kind of things before the 8-week mark. And again, I'm not gonna call cap on myself. I've been in these platonic relationships for women for 6 months, 1 year, etc. And I know, again, you know what, no matter how much time we spend, there's no chemistry, there's no spark at the 6 month mark, at the 1 year mark, etc. And we're better off just as friends. Forcing a platonic situation into a romantic situation is problematic. And if you're not even saying, like, you know what, there's a possibility, that's the creep. There's no possibility of you having any sexual attraction at him at decision day. Then why stay together? To me, it's like, if you want a roommate, again, this is the best season to do it. But if you're telling me I'm trying to find a marriage, I'm trying to have someone I'm trying to put qualities in, you've dismissed this guy for the first 4 weeks. This guy's readjusted his entire approach to you, learned you as an individual, did everything that you want him to do, and it's still not good enough for you to say, hey, show him any signs of affection. Or even tell him, hey, you know what, it's taking me a while, but at least I'm getting to like you, or see things I want to be with you. And for Michael to say, like, you know what, he doesn't want to be in a sexless marriage, again, that was a damning statement at that point. And I was like, you know what, this is problematic, and I understand why you want to keep yourself in that situation at a particular point. If that was me, it's time to walk away, step away. I feel like he's given so much and hasn't got anything back. He's unwilling to accept defeat. But again, this woman has not shown. I haven't seen anything from this woman that said, like, you know what, hey, she actually likes you more than a friend, or the nice things you do for her. So what are we doing here? I don't get what more time is going to do. I don't think it takes 2 months to realize if you have I'm not even sexual, if you have an attraction to a person or not. For most people, it takes the first date. By the appetizers go on the table, you know. So I get the premise of the show, and I get you need 8 weeks to make a decision to decide. You can't not decide it in 8 weeks and still think that it's okay to be here. Like, this, yes, baffles like every other decision I've seen for the past 4 or 5 seasons. Because again, like, I don't know why they said yes. We've seen people who liked each other but couldn't get along say no. We've seen people who didn't like each other say no. So I don't understand how we have 2 people who really are not attracted to each other say yes and say, let's continue this going on. Unless one is fearful of rejection, the other one just doesn't know what better is. And that's Michael and Jasmina.
Yeah. So sorry, yeah, I'm delayed. Yeah, no. So, you know, with Michael and Jasmina, you're actually right about the fearfulness of Jasmina, and you know, she has created this masterpiece, again, once more through the fact that when you look at the situation with Michael, he has succumbed to Jasmina's plan. I'm looking at it and I'm going to you, bro, why would you succumb to this plan? Like, why would you agree that we would live in separate houses to continue this marriage? Like, why is it that Michael found him? Why does Michael allow himself to be in that space? That's the question I'm asking myself. Why do you allow yourself to be in that space to continue in her plan? That's not your plan.
Right.
That's her plan.
Michael's attracted to a woman who's not attracted to him, and he's willing to do whatever it takes for that woman to say, you know what, I want to be with you. Unfortunately, something in the real life, this can take months and months and months. You only have 8 weeks to figure things out. And of course, of 8 weeks, we've seen Jasmina has not budged. And I guarantee you, if we go 6 months in the future, she's not going to budge then. And I haven't, there's very rare situations where a person is like, you know what, I don't like you now. And then 6 months later, yeah, I like you. I didn't like you before, I like you now. Unless they see you in a different environment, a different light. She's been with this person enough to know that, hey, I'm not physically attracted to this person. I don't find qualities that I feel like, hey, I feel safe and protected. Now, we can go to attributes. Michael might not be as tall, might not as tall, or the type of typical physique that she typically used to or dates, and she's falling back from that. Maybe the way that he associates with other women, i.e. the roommates, again, it was a turn off for him, which again, that could be a turn from. Again, we give you that, but at the same time, it's like, okay, most people either going to work through this or not work through it at all. You haven't worked on anything since day one till now, especially when they had the re-wedding situation where they redid their vows, whatever. I really didn't see any change of behavior in the renewal of the vows mid-season versus the beginning. And I gave the 4 weeks as a watch. So what's happened in the last 4 weeks for me to say, hey, she actually likes this person? I have not seen it. It's a safe environment for her to be in. But if it's about attraction, and when you compare Jasmina, to other women, you just don't see the like person. Hey, I want to see this guy when he comes home. I want to make sure he does well. Lindsey does a better job with Mark than Jasmina does with Michael. That's the sad thing. And Michael's too much of a punk to say, I don't want to be here anymore.
I don't hear you. You know, okay, yeah. I mean, to be honest, with Michael, you know, his situation. You're right. I think. I mean, she's a little Alyssa 2.0, isn't she? You know, she went to the what do you call it? Those people that do the readings, and heard she'll have twins, and on that mark, she has got somebody who is probably willing to give her sex twice, get the twins out, and he'll be gone. She's about to Black Widow him. What kind of? I don't know what spider eats their own male counterparts, whatever. But that's what she's about to do to him.
Praying
right?
mantis.
Not because she's
Praying
bad
mantis.
or anything.
Praying mantis.
Not because she's bad. Yeah, only. Not because she's bad or anything. Just because that's the nature of the beast. If you haven't healed, then you're gonna act in that trauma. And so, unfortunately, with his situation now, he actually needs to take the reins. And the reins is I take control of me, which is look, this is my standard. I look when we talking about our marriage and living in different houses, that ain't for me. That's off the table. If we're gonna do this marriage thing, we're gonna be in the same house and we're gonna make it work. Otherwise, let's not do this. I personally don't think you should do this at all. But if you are going to do it, we're definitely not going to be doing you sleeping in another house, and then you being at a distance, I'm being at a distance, and her trying to replicate her long distance relationships. And to be honest, it might work for a few months, and he might think to himself, "Wow, this might actually work." But number one, you're spending more money than you need to. Number two, okay, you're at a distance, meaning you don't actually get to see every behavior that you need to see. I know you've seen quite a bit already in 8 weeks anyway, so right. To be fair, you've seen quite a bit. But it is not the experience of the marriage that most people will have. And that, for me, is the biggest problem for Jasmina and Michael. He needs to be able to regulate not only the Jasmina situation, but regulate himself by saying, this is not my standard. I don't need to be the standard. If this was the other way around, I would say the exact same thing. I would say, why would a man say to you, I want to live in separate houses and continue a marriage? That is ludicrous. Okay, just as ludicrous as Dr. Pepper saying that she wants to live how many distance away from her husband, and sometimes their friends are not.
I 100% agree. It'll be one thing if Michael was bringing this to Jasmina. It'll be one thing if Michael was bringing up to Jasmina, if they came up to it collectively. Jasmina is telling Michael what the terms and conditions of the relationship is going to be. And when it comes to platonic relations between men and women, I've experienced this time and time again. My thing is like, again, I think the age factor comes into play again. Michael thinks 28, she's 29. He doesn't know how to say no or voice what he wants from a relationship of this standard moving forward. I'm not sure of how serious relationships been in the past, but he should have shown some reluctance to this plan and be able to voice why this wouldn't work versus just agreeing to what she had to say about this. And I feel like this became an option because of the feelings factor, because she doesn't want to be in the same she doesn't want to be work on being committed to this person. It's okay if they have separate space versus space together. And these are the things that you're seeing now in week 8 are the same things you saw the first day when they got back. I remember I put in my notes, she had to go, I need to go walk my dog. I walk my dog, so I can't stay here. That's the same move that she pulled on week 2 after the honeymoon. She's pulling it right now, week 8. Her gameplay, her playbook hasn't changed. And all the work that Micah put in for her to say the exact same thing on week 8 as she's saying week 1, what's the point? If it wasn't good enough back then, and it's not good enough like now, what makes you think 6 months in the future is going to be any bit different?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that point. I think I think Brittany kind of put it, which is why I saw from earlier on, which is we all knew she was going to be a boss. We all knew she was going to be bossy. We all knew she was going to try and control the settings. We all knew she was going to control the pace. We all knew she was going to control how things go, right? And that's what I was saying to you earlier on about that people will only do as much as you allow them to do. Michael needs to find his voice. Okay, I know he found a bit of aggression earlier on, okay, but he needs to find his voice. I'm talking about boundaries, effective boundaries that don't require you to be angry, that don't require you to lash out, but are said in a way that the person knows you're serious. You know, you have to get to a place where you're able to establish that this person is now encroaching on your turf without it becoming, the person's threatening. No, I'm letting you know, listen, that doesn't work for me. That don't work for me. And so I said it from, that episode where Brittany put even that t-shirt thing. So I have a lot to go on tonight. I said it from the t-shirt thing when we said about the fact that she had the t-shirt on about she's the real boss. I said it to myself, well, if you let her wear that t-shirt, I want to let you know you're in for a ride. You're in for a type of ride, right? You have to be able to let the person know that the person is doing, you don't like it. Now, earlier on, we know she tried to shut him down about him getting a little bit aggy towards her and her feeling some type of way. Let me just say this now. I've been there, and I've been there where your voice starts getting lost. You have to let the person know I'm not about that life. You're not about to put me in the trenches. You're not about to let me feel like I can't talk in this relationship or the walls are closing on me. No. You're not about to do that to me. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to go for. And Jasmina did a very good job of shutting her down. We talk about Olu being a bit abusive. I'm not saying she's abusive per se, but I'm saying in the sense of we talk about Olu, trying to do Katy Perry Raw with freaking Katina, and yet it's Jasmina who's been silently, slowly, poisonously shutting his voice down by always saying, you're doing this, you're doing that, rolling her eyes, interjecting, even in front of Pastor Cal, she's doing the exact same thing. So I'm not saying she's as bad as, nowhere close to being that. I'm just saying in the sense of, we saw a lot of her shutting down his thoughts and calling it aggressive. And a black man in this particular generation being called aggressive on live television, man, you finishing the boy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's a death sentence. And again, like I have to admit, like I was very judgmental when I was hearing that word of aggression with him in the first week or in the first meetings with Pastor Cal. And I didn't know much about him. And again, as a black man, if you say something that people don't agree with, again, that's a term that can be definitely used against you. I think he's definitely worked on that. And I kind of felt like he's been able to make his point without being undermining or making Jasmina feel vulnerable or feel unsafe. That still wasn't good enough for her to say, you know what? Let's find a way for us to be together to make this thing work in the same environment. She wants to be in a different environment from this guy. And she has a track record of these long distance relationships. But the thing is, it's like long distance relationships are one thing, the goal about being a long distance relationship is to eventually come together and find a way to be together down the road. I don't know what the purpose of being in a long distance marriage is.
I'm hearing you on that, bro. I'm hearing that. I sort of made a good point there as well, that, you know, Karen did the same thing to Miles during the season. It was emasculation for me. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you know,
The difference
yeah, I hear what you're
between
saying. So
a
he has
difference
found a bit more of his
I think the
voice.
difference
That's
between
fair.
Miles set up boundaries, I guess, in the beginning of what he expected, not expecting. Like, these are things we could talk about, not talk about, especially when it came to his anxiety, I believe his anxiety
Depression.
And his depression. Whereas with Michael, we didn't get that. We had to hear that information through his sisters and his family. It'll be nice for him to own it and say it up at the beginning. Unfortunately, you know, it's very hard for me to say at 28 I had all the answers. And it's kind of hard for me to say, like, hey, you know what? He's going to have all the answers right now at 28. I think maybe in a couple of years he's going to figure that out. But in retrospect, during the course of the season, he's figured it out and became more malleable. He's been able to find his voice, but able to project what he wants and how he wants to view, especially this marriage. It's not being reciprocated at all. And if that's what's your pressing need during the first week of your first interaction with this guy, and he's able to make that change, what is it? And if that wasn't enough, then what's going to be enough? I hate to sound selfish, but I believe, like, hey, if he was 6'4", if he was Elijah 6'2", 6'3", that type of physique, it wouldn't matter how aggressive he was, how demeaning he was. She would have found a reason to stay with that guy. But the fact that he wasn't that, and that she checked out pretty much at the wedding or the day after the wedding, we see this whole spiel. I'm like, okay, like, you know what? We'll find a way. I'll find a way to tolerate the situation. My feelings are not going to change because I'm steadfast in what I want. And this is what the outcome is going to be. And if you know that at date one, I don't need to wait till 2 months to break up. Let me go at the beginning, or just say this is not going to work and walk away.
Yeah. And like I said, we saw the contempt from her side. You know, again, I don't want to even be a bashing party. I wanted to more of a case and say she doesn't need to be here herself. She doesn't need to be here herself. She, you know, she needs to be able to bring the strength down in the room. Now, my question is really here, and how many people want to get married and then live in separate houses the whole entire time? Now, I get the whole maybe have a spare bedroom, because sometimes he snores too much, maybe she kicks too much, maybe sometimes farts will be stinking under the covers. I get it, sometimes you want to sleep in a spare room, but to be in a whole different house, you may as well run away. You say this. You are at that point. You are opening the door, for someone else to come and shake the pussoir, because that's what you're really asking for. I'm just gonna be honest with you. That's all you're really saying. You want to be able to have the pussoir being touched by someone else without having any ounce of someone else being able to say anything. I'm just being honest. I'm being silly, but I'm being real. Like, it doesn't. If someone said they want to be with you, right, and they want to get married, how many of us think, yeah, we'll just live in separate houses? Not by choice. You don't live in separate houses by choice. You know what I'm saying? Listen, what Dr. Pepper is doing, look, that's not your life. It's the same thing with Noy and Steve. Noy was trying to do the same thing to Steve. Honestly, I'm looking at these people. I'm really looking at them. I'm asking some serious questions. Noy was doing the exact same thing to Steve, and Jasmina doing the exact same thing to Steve. This is not just a woman or man thing. I'm talking about people in general. The fact that you want to live in a separate house, separate from the person, you're pulling a Chris without pulling a Chris. Okay, you are pulling a Zach from 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago with Mindy or whatever her name was. You're pulling that stunt and then calling it, let's trial and error. No, no, no. You're pulling a stunt the exact same way that Zach did it. You're pulling the exact same way that Chris did it. It's just that theirs was on camera and we dragged the hell out of them because they were on camera, not coming to the yard. But it's the exact same energy, but specifically for Jasmina because she actually said she's going to do it, and Noel because she tried to put that idea across. I don't know if they're actually going to do it, but it's the exact same thing. Y'all ain't going to come in and pretend as if y'all ain't acting the same energy as those two boys that were doing earlier in the season. You didn't come to the house because you don't want to come to the house. You don't want to be in this relationship no more. Let's just keep it a buck.
I agree with you 100%. I think people are trying to not be accountable and still getting the perks of being in a marriage. It's just that plain simple. You're not going to agree with that person 100% of the time in relationships and even in marriage, but you should be able to agree on the major components, or even when things get difficult, yes, you need to separate. The length of separation shouldn't be that long. You shouldn't have to put yourself in another house unless you are physically in fear of your safety. Like physically and abusively. If that person's physically going to abuse you or verbally going to abuse you, I get it. But because my feelings are hurt, because he said something I don't agree with, because I don't feel comfortable in this environment, because I feel like I'm being forced to do things I'm uncomfortable with. That's not the indication for me to say I want to be in a different household. For Jasmina and for Noel, again, I don't understand the logic here. They're trying to paint it as these guys being aggressive or not letting them do what they want. That's not the case. No, they just don't want to step up to accountabilities of being a husband and a spouse, or husband and wife, or having a spouse. And that's the main issue that we're having now. Because it's not. I don't think it's a coincidence that 2 of the women on this season are pulling the same stunt here.
Yeah. Boy. Someone made a point here. Maybe they had financial responsibility on their ends. They both had roommates. When you have roommates, you can't necessarily bring in another roommate into that situation, which I understand. Maybe you got a lease on and everything like that as well. Maybe the show is being cheeky and not giving us the full spectrum of that answer,
Right,
and maybe that's an issue as well. That's
even
gone alongside that as well. I don't know, but
even if it was a spouse,
maybe that part of it.
Even if it was a spouse, you would think they would say, like, you know what, as soon as we can get this rectified, I would enjoy coming back to living with my husband or wife. Or both of Noel and Jasmina's indication. That is not the case. They're telling these guys what they're going to do. And they have to be okay with it. After the fact that they're married. Like, again, we're doing everything backwards.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting married and then we're dating and trying to go through an engagement, especially in Steve and Noel's case.
I mean, what about Steve and Noel, bro?
All right, so I've been Team Steve all throughout.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Steve is broke. Again, I think Steve is modest with money. Steve lives between his means. He lives between his means. You can say he's a budgeter, whatever. That's fine. I don't think his financial journey I might not agree with. And again, I wish he wasn't as apprehensive in showing the whole his financial plan, financial journey. That's the thing that I don't understand. We've done a lot of Glassdoor, a lot of LinkedIn, trying to figure out how much money do people in Steve's position actually makes, etc. If he has what's his whole financial journey, whatever it is. Do you need a 9-to-5 in order to be successful in this country? The answer is, I don't think so. If you know how to plan and budget your money, yes. The issue here is, does he have a steady source of income stream? That's my main question for Steve. And that's the answer we don't know. Everything he's given me tells me, hey, he does. But at the same time, we don't know. He hasn't shown his financial plans, financial journey, journey to Noel. So again, my issue is I can understand why Noel might feel the way he has to be, but at the end of the day, I know broke people. He doesn't act broke. If he was a broke person, why is he going out buying engagement rings, trying to profess his love to the woman? That part I don't know. So again, unless there's some mattress money that I understand, hey, Steve, make it make sense. However, this woman is very unrealistic in what she wants, how she views what a marriage is supposed to be. First couple weeks, she was like she was madly in love with this guy, and could not spend any waking meal away from him. Now she's telling me why her and her dog have to be in a different space for time to be determined. That's number one. Number two, she has this whole fixated idea on I want to have marriage and how many kids and what my husband needs to do, etc. She's able to tell everyone but Steve. And every time you need to have the conversation, she's able to tell. She can tell Instagram. She can tell her family. She can't tell Steve. She runs away from the apartment. Doesn't tell Steve. I see why Steve gets upset, but Steve hasn't really addressed that information right to Noel. He's been going to everybody else. He gives me a lot of Michael vibes. Again, like there's a problem here. I need you to address the problem with the problem. I know sometimes it helps talking with friends or talking to other people and talking to other people in the season. But at the same time, he's never ever said like, you know what, Noel, this is what it is. This is what I want. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is the way I want to plan certain things. If we're going to judge a man by providing, perfecting, and having a vision of the future, he has to be able to say those things. Based on yes, he wants to be married. Yes, he wants to have one kid. Yes, I don't know how he views employment, these are major red flags you need to be able to answer for someone to be in a committed relationship. And if he's unable to do so, I get the reason why I would be trepidatious and I want to leave the situation. For Noel, why do you want to be with a guy who can't tell you exactly what he wants from you? Or if you know there's certain things you don't want to do when it comes to marriage, i.e. cooking, cleaning, etc., or whatever the rule, whatever your foundation is that a wife is supposed to do, make it known so we know exactly what you're going to do or not going to do. Because honestly, you're telling me all you want is a sperm donor to give you these 3 kids, be able to work a 9-to-5 job, be able to bring home X number of income, and do the certain things. That's not Steve. And if Steve I don't care how he makes his money, as long as it's legal, in my opinion. If that's what he wants to do, that's fine. Steve, you're signing up for something that you don't want. I've learned from my past again. I don't want to do things I don't want. I don't want to pay for things that I don't want or do things I don't want to do. So I don't understand exactly why you're attaching yourself to a woman who isn't happy with the way you want to live or manage your life. You have to tell us that. That's the number one thing, what you're not doing. You're telling everyone else, which, again, problematic. Tell the woman. 2, Noel she's not compliant to what this man needs, and she's not compromising anything that she wants. I haven't seen her once over this course of his marriage. Like, you know what? I know this is something Steve wants versus me. I'm willing to comply to that. It's like, unless I get everything the way I want to get it, it's hell over high water. I'm like, this is going to, of all the couples, I think this is the first couple that's going to crack or break because, again, both people are not getting what they want. I don't know how much.
So, I mean, there is definitely a case that he may be sitting on some money, but as far as I'm concerned, he's broke. Okay, all right. As far as I'm concerned, he's broke. Until he proves differently, he's broke. All right.
If you want, if Noel wants him to get it,
let's keep it a buck. Yeah, he may have made some money from his app or whatever, some money from that. Nobody's asked you to disclose what you make to us. I don't know how much. I didn't know how much Gil made last year. All I know is he was a fireman. That we all started calculating what the range is. Okay, all right. We also started calculating what Miller's range was. We don't know exactly how much it is. All right. We don't know how much he makes exactly, right? But here's the point with the situation, yeah? We know one thing. He has not told Noel, and even at the last, before the even decision day, he hadn't told her about his financial plan and the finances that he had, right? So, you know, I'm not saying that he can't make money. I'm not saying he can't be a creative. My thing is, why won't you give her the assurance then? You know, this girl is waiting for the insurance and we haven't had it. You go and buy a ring to prove that you have the money ready. That's a bigger issue. Do you
That
know what I'm saying? I'm confused by that.
I
We need to see the plan. Not necessarily I need to see it, but you need to see the plan that she will feel comfortable with. Without her feeling comfortable, if he's given a solid plan saying, look, I'm sitting on this amount of money. Look, let me tell you something. I'm sitting on some good money myself. I'll tell you this now, in 6 months, I won't be. I tell you this now, if I won't be sitting in 6 months' time when I have to buy certain things. I won't be. If I lose my job, I won't be in 6 months' time. People have money saved up. I know people. I worked in banking and I saw what I call middle class people. Okay, and the problem with middle class people is one of the biggest things is they have amazing credit, but they overspend. Okay, £10 on cups of coffee, £10 on carrot cakes, £10 on a sandwich at club, and before you know it, £30 a day. And before you know, the end of the week is £210 for the week. Before you know it, it's about 800 something, £90, whatever you want to call it, right? And it all starts to add up. That's not including whatever else is coming out of his bank account, right? And very quickly, that lifestyle is bleeding your money. So I'm not excited by the fact you can make money. What is the financial outgoings? Because we don't know that either. He might be making great money. He might be sitting on some great money, but we don't know the outgoings of that. Please provide the financial plan to Noel. It has been how many weeks on this show that he has not done that? Instead, he gave her a shut up ring and told her to shut up, and here's a ring to prove that I'm sitting on some good money. That, for me, does not tell me there is good financial exploits. That doesn't tell me you got financial acumen. That doesn't tell me that you're financially responsible, because we don't need to know. I don't need you to come and tell me. I'm not marrying you. You understand? I don't need you to come on the screen and tell us you make this amount of money. I need you to come on, tell the plan to Noel so she can stop complaining and crying that she doesn't feel safe because you haven't given her the plan. Up until the point that we saw for last, I think it was last episode before that, whatever, when they sat down to talk, she sat down with him and asked him and said again, you haven't given me a plan. How hard is it if you are somebody who is a creative, who has money or finances or etc., right, to be able to let somebody know, hey, look, you know what? I'm working on an app right now, or I'm working on a particular project right now. I have X amount of money in savings. I'm not going to work because the app is projected to make X amount of money. This is what I'm about to be on. Then when you give that to Noel, okay, then we can get a response from Noel that says, I know you've already given me a plan, but I wasn't satisfied. Then we can crucify Noel. Up to that moment, I can't crucify Noel at all. And to that moment, I'm going to say it. He broke. Okay? He broke and he broke of brokety brokes, dusty broke. And the dust is settling heavily on the heads of people. It's so heavy, the dust. I'm sneezing. I've got the cold. I've got the cold because of his dust. Okay? Yes, he's got the dust settling. Until you've shown me a financial plan.
If Steve was to go out and get a job, for just a regular job, a steady sub income, and work on his app, would that be enough for Noel? That's where this issue. I mean,
we don't know.
That's where this elephant is coming down in the room.
No. That's an excuse. That's an excuse. Come on. That's an excuse.
What about Steve's action says that he's actually out here on money?
I'm not saying that definitely is. I can't say either or. What I can say is you've given her no financial plan. Right now, you're the guy from what's the guy? Think Like a Man or whatever, and you're that guy that Taraji P. Henson was dating. Okay, bare dreams, and we haven't seen no action. That's what I'm seeing at the moment. Okay, nobody's asking you to come and give us the Bill Gates. I've got this amount of money. No one needs to do that. No one's doing that. What we are asking for is for you to give a financial plan to your partner Let her know I can afford a 5K ring. I can afford a 10K ring. I can afford a 40K ring right now. But that doesn't mean I'm sitting on money. It's what I can afford. Doesn't mean I'm sitting on money. Does not mean I'm well off. That having 3 kids, it's not going to be sitting on your 100K that you're sitting on. Money in cash depreciates. Come on.
Yeah.
He needs money to be getting there. He's fucking broke, dusty broke.
Coach, we had a conversation a couple months ago about how women dating now, dating now 2022 is very different from before. Just because a guy can pay for a date doesn't mean if they're a quality person. Again,
Absolutely.
just because I can save up money to buy a ring doesn't mean I have this huge financial vision of the future. I think his employment makes him very volatile, very unstable. And I agree. I can agree with if Noel's looking for a stable environment to have 3 kids, etc. I can agree with Steve is not coming forth with a plan on how he projects the short term versus long term. There's way people with money move, and the way people are strategic move, and the way people broke people move. This boy is not broke by any stretch of the imagination. It's very calculated with his decisions. How many people can walk away from a job for an entire year and not be in financial destitute?
Bro, how long has he been in that job for?
He's been out of job for at least a year.
What's the savings? How do we know he's not using his savings? How do we not know he's not using his savings? And the savings are only going to last so long. This is my point. We just need a financial plan. If you've got money, nobody's saying come on to marry. You came on to marry first sight. You know what's going to happen, right? You know what's going to happen. You're going to ask you these financial situations. So just give Noe the plan.
Okay.
I think what's happened here, he made a little bit of money from the app. Okay, aside obviously working in IT, took a little retirement fund, or what you call it? What do you call it when you get kicked out your job, or whatever?
Severance package.
Yes, severance package. Took that money, took the app money, sat on it, went around the world for a whole year, whatever, right? And then now we're at this position. Oh, I'm about to do another app situation. Well, until the app materializes, sir, you brokely broke. Okay, brokely broke. I'm not excited or gassed because you can buy a 5K ring, because savings can also pay for that.
I'm not. We both agree. We're not gassed too. That doesn't mean that he's a good. What does that mean about him in the future? Just because he can do it now, does that mean he's going to be able to have these type of funds in the future? Yes or no? Is that what Noy's asking for or wants? No, I agree with you. He needs to sit down and say, hey, this is what I'm willing to do, not willing to do. His action says, I'm not trying to work a 9-to-5 job. I'm trying to work whatever it is. I'm going to make this dream risk move forward. I need you to be patient and allow me to do my thing. Noy does not want that. Noy wants someone that I can physically see goes to work at 9, comes home at 6, brings home a steady paycheck, and plays for 3 kids. That's what she said since day one. For Steve to be ducking and dodging, I don't know. Either you're faking to be something that you're not, or you really don't want to be there. But of course, that's not what broke people do. So,
bro, in all honesty, this situation, you have to really look at the fact that, okay, look, when I started YouTube 2 years ago full time, I had a girlfriend at the time, and she said she wasn't cool with the YouTube starting, and I actually understood. Yeah, you make 1,200. What are you doing? I'm barely paying my bills. I can understand what she meant, right? I can understand her fears. I can understand why she wanted me to be in a more stable 9-to-5 job, right? I totally understood that, right? But I told her the same thing that he's telling her. My lane is not here. It's to be in YouTube and to make money creatively, right? I believed it. I knew it. I had to go down that lane. But I also had to give her a plan. I also had to monthly give her check-ins and say, hey, this is what we're doing each month. Here are the figures. Here are the stats. Here are the analytics, right? Because I wanted you to feel safe. Because see, if I care about you emotionally, forget about the fact you can make an app and make $1 million. I've got to make sure that you feel safe emotionally. But every time we talk, you keep using an excuse. Well, if I get a job, who's going to do the cleaning around the house? That's not what we're asking. What we're asking for is, do you have a plan? That's what we're asking for. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at him concerned because he keeps dodging. If you keep dodging, that tells me there's something dodgy going on. Because anybody who's transparent about their journey is going to be open and say, hey, this is what I'm working with. This is what I'm doing. These are the numbers. Oh, I'm working on this new app right now. Here are the figures for the new app that's going to come along. I've sold the first one. The second one's looking even better than the first one. I'm potentially going to be sitting on a certain amount of money, right? I've got a certain amount of money coming through, right? This is probably what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is just let her know, hey, right? That's all you got to do. Just let her know. As in today, someone said there's a lot of revealing. Yeah, for me, it wasn't a big deal. For me, money is not a big deal. Like I don't look at money like that. You know what I mean? And besides, I wasn't making the money I was making now. So to be honest, gold dig where? There was no gold. Gold dig where? There was no gold digging. There was no gold. You know what I mean?
Coal digging.
Coal digging. That's what she was digging for coal. You know what I mean? I was barely making any money to pay my bills, bro. So, you know, it is, again, and this is an excuse. Him not being transparent, we don't need to see it. We don't need to. We did this with Gil and Merla. We didn't need to. He showed her the paper and said, this is how much I'm making. That's all. You know, that's all you need to do. Here you go. That's all.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, until he shows me evidence, he broke. And don't forget, these shows can also be involved in helping buy these rings. I don't gasp by the fact that it was how much K was spending a ring.
I'll be more impressed if he did it. He did it after being on the show than on the show. I agree with you. I'm not impressed on dates he's got spending. Again, this show, other reality shows, they can front the bills, whatever. When you show me when the camera's not on, I'll agree with a lot more. The fact that it's taking Steve to the after party after the camera's off to have these reassurances about savings, plans, whatever, to me, again, I agree with you. It's not the way it should be. I'm not sure it's a red flag, but at the same time, it's like, okay, if I have money, I'm trying to protect my money. I'm not going to be out here showcasing everything to the world, especially after one month of you knowing each other. But I hear what you're saying. He needs to at least show her the information. I'm just saying, broke people move a particular way, non-broke people work a particular way. The boy ain't broke. That's all I'm gonna say.
Boy, he ain't showed nothing that tells you that he ain't broke.
Yeah.
He ain't showed you nothing. There's not one thing you're telling me that he showed you that's showing that he's not broke. Tell me one thing.
I just think he's studious with his. Whoa, talking about he hasn't. He was able to have. He had his apartment.
We're making excuses for him. He hasn't shown one thing that says that he's not broke. People are making these wild assumptions. Noel would leave if he was broke. Well, she doesn't. We already know that Noel is in a fantasy land. So that doesn't mean there's not one thing he has showed us that's making us think because he doesn't spend much money, or we haven't seen him be flashy or extra with it. That doesn't prove anything. We need something. Something. Someone said Steve rocking Gucci loafers. And do you know how many man them in the hood have Gucci? Do you remember how many people in the hood have expensive designer gear? Please. You know, we're not asking you to come and give us a tour of your wardrobe. We're asking for the fact that simple things. It should be simple enough to say to her, This is what I want. You know, I'm not convinced by anything that he is not broke. Yeah. He said 40K Noel wants to see is no problem. Do you know how many men have lied? I don't listen. Do you know how many men have actually lied and barsed women? If you're just gonna believe just because he said a 40K is not a problem. I'm just saying, you've heard this before. Very expensive dreams, people have said. You know, I'm just saying, you know, if you don't want to be in a position where that, you know, you're trying to believe somebody's broken dreams because they sold it to you so well. It's packaged so nicely. You know what I mean? And we've seen people like that. You know, people who dress nice, come in with a brand new car, walk out with pimping shoes, talking like he's made of money. They get there, they have nothing. Beans on toast, he can't even afford. The house he doesn't even own. He's barely keeping up rental payments. We've seen this before. I'm not about to believe you because you told me, you know, don't worry, I got 40K in savings. It's not gonna be a problem. That's how y'all get finessed. It ain't gonna be me though. Tell me you can cook and then I've never seen you in the kitchen once. You think I'm gonna believe you? You better get your ass in the kitchen.
Oh Lord. All right. No, we won't know if she can get in that kitchen because she apparently wants to go home with a dog.
Always.
So we'll see.
Let's see. But final one, Owen, Katina, what's your thoughts?
I thought Katina was the most mature person of the entire season. And for someone not to believe in her or the way that she wants them to believe in her, I'm very disappointed in the fact that she said yes because of just all the malicious things that Olajuwon did throughout the season. Like he pretty much told her like, hey, I don't trust you because you're not committed the way that I'm committed to you. This is the way I view a marriage. This is what I view the marriage. I think you should stay at home. I think you should cook, clean, etc. If you're not doing those things, I don't want to acknowledge you as a fit wife. He was very demanding and very demeaning from day one. He was willing to push and over push in order to make his voice heard. And it really didn't, and you can say it meddled a little bit or towards the end, but to me, I don't think so. He's still the same person from week one. Maybe he's just less he toned on about how bad or toxic he was. And it somehow he has an epiphany moment at on decision day based on something his father said to him growing up that made him realize, hey, she might not be the person I want, but I'm willing to stay because of the possibility you can be. I don't understand. To me, I don't understand it. Like if you don't accept me for me or the work I'm going to do right now, I don't understand why I need to project myself down the future. When when we don't have the same ideologies, but at the same time, you're not willing to meet me halfway on anything. It's only going to be turmoil moving forward from here. If anything, the cameras saved his loss have a glimpse on how aggressive this Olajuwon could have been when it came, especially attacking the character about the names and the apps and things like that. This doesn't make any sense. Of course, she loves him. Of course, he's willing to protect and do whatever it is for him. But at the same time, not all protection is good protection. Just because someone looks good and says the right things doesn't mean that's good for you. I thought Katina would figure that out. The fact that he didn't, I was just like, it took the air out the bag for me. And the flip side, like Olajuwon is just like, I don't get it. You want this traditional woman who comes home, who cleans, who does everything you have to say, and now of course that's not her. You don't acknowledge that, and you're kind of forcing her to be the type of, I would say, girlfriend or wife that you've been with throughout your entire life. And again, that's just gonna just blow up in your face sooner and later. She messes up, you blow up, you somehow come back together. The whole sex pact thing of how he didn't want to have sex during the show, whatever. Again, I understand it. I'm not gonna knock him for that. But at the same time, just because you're willing to do that doesn't prove that you're going to be a good spouse or a good husband. It just proves that you're just going to not use you're not going to use that to determine your decision. If anything, it's only going to make things worse down the road. Which I'm thinking, I'm not sure how soon after. I think they got through the 8 weeks and then they consummated the marriage. I'm like, what was the whole point of getting through the 8 weeks if you're going to do that at that particular point? I didn't get his thought process. Like, again, he just does things just because it looks good, or he thinks it'll look on camera, but the actual actions behind it, there's nothing there. He doesn't respect her. He doesn't respect her as a career woman. Doesn't respect her and her wishes and what she wants to do, i.e., travel, i.e., other interests. He wants her to be home when he gets home with a hot meal. Ready to do exactly everything he wants to do at the end of the day. And to me, that's not a marriage. It's more of a hobby.
Yeah. Owen, continue. It's sad to say. To be honest, I just don't know if he's changed enough in the 8 weeks for her to say yes. I think the sex pact thing, I think he was scared that if he had sex, he's going to change his mind. I don't think it was about protecting her, it's about protecting himself. I think he thought to himself, if I have sex, I'm probably going to leave. My only issue with that is when he has sex, is he going to leave? You know what I mean? Like, if you have sex later on, are you going to leave? Right? I know, because remember, the issue with him is anything she does, it doesn't seem like it gets better. I know he made some sweeping statements today saying how amazing she is now, blah, 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 blah. But if he reverts again, something else that she's not good at, that he doesn't like, it comes up again. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he should be out here having sex, by the way. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that no sex really about, about trying to build a connection? Or is that no sex because you're scared that when you have sex, you're going to become Isaac and all over again? Is that what you're scared? Because then that's a different situation. You know what I mean? That's a rulership by fear. Can't be working like that. That's it's only gonna come up again later on where your whatever self-control, whatever, is going to be tested again once more. So for me, I'm that's my kind of concerns with it. Now, someone else made a really good point about the fact as well. I picked this up now as well. This whole traditional wife malarkey, but yet you don't want to pay all the bills. You're asking her to do the cooking, the cleaning, go to work, and her work is not very strenuous. Sir, I need to start paying all the bills. Okay, I need to make sure all the things are taken care of. I know your house already paid for. I think you said that its house was paid for already.
House already,
so that's kind of a
given. House already paid for, no debt. And then house already paid for. He finished paying all his undergraduate debt, student loans, and he's very reluctant to pick up any of her school loans. He's very reluctant for her not to be willing to pay him 50% of the bills, the mortgage, etc. He was dead set on, I don't want you to change anything about my home. My home is the best thing. Hope you should be grateful to be moving in. Which again, another sticking point. Hasn't complimented her on any of her cooking. If anything, has been not efficient or is getting worse. And he's been able to tell everybody and their mama how poor of or not good a cooking job that she's doing. I guess you don't really see her talking, like her tone with her friends, especially towards the end. You could see that she's very steadfast on what she says. In the beginning, she was very open. She was she was pretty much the life of the entire group. Towards the end, she's kind of reluctant, stays by herself. To me, it's like her essence, her joy has been shot for the most part. I'm just like, this isn't the Katrina that we've known. And I kind of feel like the more that she kind of goes about living her self purpose, if it doesn't involve a larger one, it's only going to lead to turmoil. If he if he doesn't get the food he wants, if he's getting his clothes folded like he wants, if he's not coming home and being able to consummate the marriage like he wants, if she's not providing, if she's not being able to afford all the bills for the household, even though that she's in school and is going to be in school for 2 years at the bare minimum, he's not going to be happy. Like, yeah, you've given us every reason why you're not going to be happy. Then why stay? It's like I'm watching Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. I'm watching Mark all over again. He's black and has tattoos and a six pack.
And there you have it. That's the point, right? I mean, you struggle to find the reasons as to why he wants to be in a relationship with her.
His father.
Why do you want to be in a relationship with her, sir?
His father's
what is it that she's doing
that's
making you want to stay there? You know what I mean? And it's the control. It's the control he's going to have over Katina. She's now he's broken her to a certain point. Now, maybe we got it wrong, and maybe we're seeing it wrong. You know, maybe edit is really finishing him up. But as far as I'm concerned, Katina going to stay with old boy and not coming out of that relationship concerns me. A brother said out of his own mouth, like the person put there, you know, she cooks food, but it's not edible. And it's like, you don't have no filter. You don't have decorum. You don't have emotional intelligence to know that saying this thing out loud ain't it. Right? And the person you're with isn't even like that themselves. See, I always wonder, people would say like, oh, that's just me. Wait till your partner does the same thing. Very soon you'll be saying, I'm in a toxic relationship. Why is it toxic? Oh, because, no, you, when you're doing it with somebody else, you're saying, that's just me. Accept me for who I am. Then when both of you are doing it, now it's going to become a toxic relationship. Why didn't they put him with somebody else that would tell him about himself like that? Why didn't you put with someone else who said, you sit straight, your hairline looking a bit mad? Why? So just to hear what he would say in return. You know, it's not nice to hear some of the comments that he makes. It honestly isn't. So, oh man, I'm not sure why she decided to stay, but it'd be that.
There we go. I would like to see how these couples fare 6 months down the road. Because again, I don't see any of them staying together. Or what's the premise of them staying together? That's the key thing. Saying yes at decision day and not being together 6 months later, I don't know what the difference is. I've been led astray so many times over the past couple seasons, but we shall see.
We all have. Someone asked me who will be together by a reunion. Oh man, I'm not even going to try and guess it, because the fact they all stay together even now is stress. The fact they all decide to stay now is definitely stress. I'm surprised they stay together.
I would, if I had to guess,
it's that situation. You know what I mean? So, yeah, for me, I don't know who's going to stay together. I'm not sure who.
I mean, if I would guess, I think it will be Jasmina and Michael, only because they don't know better just to separate. Even if something bad was happening, they don't know better to separate. The other couples, again, I can see division occurring to cause them to stick to, like, you know what, this isn't going to work out. But I thought this is the first season. It will be 5 no's. Now, 1 incomplete after a week and 4 and 8 yeses.
Bro, that's what TV will do to you. That's what TV will do to you. You know, there's a script that they're writing, and they filled the script. I mean, I thought Noel and Steve would say yes. I knew they had problems, but I think they would say yes. And I thought potentially Katina and O would say yes. But Lindsey, Mark, and Jasmina and Michael, I don't see it, Jasmina and Michael making it. Yeah, I don't see it happening. But crazier things have happened.
The MVP decisions, Chris. That's all I have to say.
Ooh, man. All right, listen. I've got a cold and it's getting late. So, peoples, it's been amazing. It's been great. Thank you for coming out, listening out to Married at First Sight. We'll be back next week. I'm officially back here now, so it should be cool. But yeah, we'll have Demetrius from Ready to Love on Wednesday night. Unfortunately, the Carmen one got cancelled. But we'll have Demetrius on Wednesday night. I'll double checking just in case someone else cancels, you know. But listen, it's been good. It's been amazing. It's been good chat. I appreciate you guys. I'll probably be live tomorrow again on this setup. My internet's not sorted until another day or two. But it's been appreciative to have you guys talking and sharing your thoughts as well. Anu, thank you again once more.
Not a problem.
Audience, no words, Cap. It's been brilliant. We'll see you again very, very soon. Love, peace, and hope.